Good morning everyone and welcome to the tribology class. So yesterday we dealt around 8 batches who presented their OBE activity. So remaining students will be taking care about the presentation in today's class. I think the first batch is Akhil and team. So kindly over to you. You kindly proceed, Akhil. Yeah, Danush, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, just 1 second, ma'am. Just 1 second.
What happened? Any problem?
Ma'am, could you hear the audio, ma'am?
Yeah, I can hear your voice.
No, ma'am. From the PPT, we have added in a voiceover to the PPT, ma'am. Can you
Okay, no,
delete
no,
that?
no, no. When you share your screen, right?
Yes,
If
ma'am.
are you using Google Chrome or Mozilla?
Ma'am, I'm using Chrome, ma'am.
Okay, then it should automatically come, no?
And I'm presenting it in PowerPoint,
Huh?
and I don't know why it's not letting the sound come.
Actually, if you're using Mozilla, you need to enable audio and video. Then only it will make your voice audible. If it
Okay,
is
ma'am. Ma'am,
Chrome, it should come automatic.
now we'll just try, ma'am. 1 second, ma'am. Friction. Friction is the force resisting the relative motion of
Yeah,
solid
I
surfaces,
can hear.
layers, and material elements sliding against each other. Origin of friction. Leonardo da Vinci was one of the first scholars to study friction systematically. He realized how important it is to the working of machines. He focused on all kinds of friction and drew distinction between sliding and rolling friction. These sketches represent four types of anti-friction bearings. Three ball bearings and straightforward depression. Leonardo stated that the two basic laws of friction 200 years before Newton's proposal was fulfilled. Da Vinci simply stated that if the areas in contact have no effects on friction and if the load of an object is doubled, its friction will also be doubled. Guillaume Montons rediscovered the two basic laws of friction that had been discovered by Da Vinci, and he also came up with an original set of theories. He believed that friction was predominantly a result of the work done to lift one surface to the roughness of the other, or from the deforming or wearing of the other surface. For several centuries after Monton's work, scientists believed that friction was due to roughness on the surfaces. Charles Augustin Coulomb adds to the second law of friction. Strength due to friction is proportional to compressive force. Although for large bodies, friction does not exactly follow this law. Coulomb published the work referring to Amontons. The second law of friction is known as the Amontons-Coulomb law, referring to work done by the two scientists in 1699 and 1785 respectively. Philip Bowden gave a physical explanation for the laws of friction. The frictional force was shown to be dependent on the true contact area, a much more intuitively satisfying argument than what Monton's Coulomb laws allow. Bowden and Tabor argued that within these asperities, all of the dynamics of friction take place. Further study is concentrated on the microscale contacts formed between single and multiple austerities, with deformation and adhesion considered. The invention of the atomic force microscope (AFM) in 1986 enabled scientists to study friction at an atomic scale. With the basic mechanisms of friction at an atomic scale understood, it must be studied how these mechanisms change with the contact area at a macroscopic scale.
Different factors affecting friction are surface finish. As we know, there will be more friction acting on a rough surface compared to a smooth one. It also depends on the directional contact points between two surfaces. Next one is temperature. Friction is affected by ambient as well as operational temperature, and it determines whether an anti-wear or extreme pressure additive will be effective for certain applications. The next two, load and speed, are directly proportional to coefficient of friction. If it's increased beyond the design capacity, friction will increase. Nature of the relative motion between the surfaces. Friction will be more in case of sliding motion rather than rolling motion. And finally, lubricant characteristics. These characteristics are the base oil, the viscosity of the base oil, and the additives combined with the base oil for the particular formulation. Now let's see different methods to reduce friction. As we saw earlier, friction will increase with increase in surface roughness. So we can reduce the friction by making the surface smooth. The different methods for making surface smooth are grinding, sandpaper, and chemical etching. Second one is application of lubricants. Lubricant are substances applied on the surface to reduce friction. It controls friction, wear, corrosion, temperature, contaminants, and also transmit power. It can reduce heat generation and also ensure smooth sliding. Engine oils, grease, paints are all examples of lubricants used to reduce friction. The next method of reducing friction is by using a streamlined design of the sliding body. It enables the sliding body to easily pass through the medium with the least resistance, thereby reducing friction. Examples are the streamlined design of birds and fishes. The next one is reducing contact between surfaces. Maglev trains handle the principle of magnetic levitation, thereby increasing speed and travel experience. Fifth one is converting to rolling friction. Since sliding friction is larger than rolling friction, it's better to opt for rolling friction, and it is also used in many aspects of our daily. One is reducing pressure or weight on the object. As we know, friction is directly proportional to the normal force applied on it. Since we are on Earth, the weight of the body is the normal force acting on the object. But in space, since there is very less or no friction, the materials are to be chosen wisely in order to reduce the friction. Seventh one, use of anti-friction coating for reducing friction between bilateral surfaces and soil. Anti-friction materials reduce the surface friction and also can be used to treat bilateral surfaces used under type 2 collapsibility conditions. The last one is reducing friction and wear of tribological systems through hybrid ribofilm consisting of coating and lubricants. A hybrid lubrication ribofilm consisting DLC, that is diamond-like carbon and lubricants, has the potential to reduce friction and wear and also impart an environmentally friendly property. Further research in hybrid ribofilm is necessary for high performance and environmentally begin tribological system. Here are the latest techniques to reduce friction. Last year, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries and the transport company announced plans to investigate the effectiveness of a system intended to reduce the frictional resistance between vessel's bottom and seawater using a layer of air bubble. Heating hulls to reduce friction. Heating the hulls of ships to temperature high above the boiling point may lower the friction and help increase the speed of ship. Easy sliding bottle coating. Liquid Glide, a non-toxic, non-stick, super slippery coating for the inside of condiment bottle. Hydrofoil yacht concept proposes the implementation of an underwater hydrofoil fin onto the underside of the yacht, which would greatly reduce friction to improve stability and increase speed. Orthoglide for knees. Orthoglide is a metallic medial implant used to reduce pain and discomfort and to correct angular abnormalities in patients with arthritis.
Ma'am, we done.
Yeah, yeah. It was I can say, a good effort related to the presentation what you have done. So mainly my question is, what did you understand by making a PPT on origin of friction? You had shown some history also related to the people who had
Yeah,
dealt about the concept of friction in the beginning. So
yes.
few things we had dealt related to that in the class also, if you remember. So finally, what concepts you learned by preparing the PPT? Hello?
Ma'am, so basically, first of all, we understood how the whole concept of friction came into play, and who are the scientists that were really involved in defining what friction is and how it acts and all of that. And we also saw where in our everyday life where friction acts and what are its side effects and how that particular aspect of it can be controlled or reduced. So these were our two main takebacks from the presentation, ma'am.
Okay, so you also spoke about the various methods through which you can reduce the friction, right? So blindly, can you use any method directly to reduce the friction, or you need to, there are some norms what you have to follow, like which method is feasible for which type of material or something like that?
Yes, ma'am. So basically, in module two, we learned that there is in terms of wear, there is classification of wear, and there are different types of wears, and there are different instances in like how friction occurs. So maybe what method that can be used in one part cannot be used in the other. So it, so it
Ma'am,
depends.
Hello? Yeah,
hello.
Akhil? Yeah, Akhil?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah, it depends on the external factors also, like as we
Okay.
told, the surface condition of the material, then other
Mm-hmm.
temperature. It depends on
Yes.
all other factors, and based on that, we are
Hmm.
determining what type of method should be used to reduce
Yes.
friction.
Yes. Exactly. So both have covered some few important points. So anything else you have left out, or is it only the two aspects?
Ma'am,
Yeah, please, Akhil, tell me.
uh, no, no, like this thing. Right now, we already like we went through what are the like modern things, like what they are doing, and on which this research is going on, such as like one is reducing friction through hybrid tribofilm formation, and another one is anti-friction coatings, using of anti-friction coatings. On these two fields, they are like more research is going on to reduce the like such a way they can reduce the friction to a great extent.
Okay. You spoke about some few latest techniques to reduce the wear. So from where did you, was it through some research papers? Yeah, some Googled out informations was.
Ma'am, it's actually both
Okay.
from few research papers, and we googled it also.
Okay. Anything of those latest techniques which are implemented basically in some or the other industries? Did you check about that?
The Orthoglide technology is currently being used in the medical field for in case of knee replacement surgeries and all of that.
Okay.
And also the in the first Imam, if I can show it to you, even, yeah, even the first the ship where there were air bubbles that were supplied under the vessel to reduce friction. Even that
Okay.
is being used currently, ma'am. And of course,
Okay.
then there is the easy sliding bottle coating. So where this is being used in the food and beverage industry, which helps the whatever contents that's inside the bottle, the product can exit out of the bottle much easier. Otherwise, it used to get stuck to the glass bottle before. So now, the newer bottles that doesn't happen, ma'am. So it is
Okay.
all of the things that we spoke about were the things that are currently being used in the industry. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Then it was a good effort, but how about the group work where it was done only by Mr. Dhanush? Yeah, it was with a team effort. I saw the PPT with the voice recording. Why so you would have presented individually, na?
No, ma'am, we thought in case there's some internet issue at the last, we didn't want things to go wrong. So whatever
Okay,
content we have recorded, so just to be on the safer side, ma'am, that's it, ma'am, nothing else.
okay, okay. Then fine, it was a good effort from you guys. Uh,
Thank
then
you.
yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, yes.
Thank you,
Then
ma'am.
yeah. Next team, please, who will be presenting?
Ma'am, do you want us to upload the
Tanush,
presentation?
yes, I forgot to tell you, kindly share your PPT to the Google Classroom right now.
Yes, ma'am, we'll do it, ma'am. Thank you,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yes, yes. Thank you. Bye bye. Yeah, the next team who is going to present. Who is the next team who haven't presented yet? Gunasagar, is your team done?
Ma'am, will do, ma'am.
Meghanatha? Yeah, yeah, kindly share.
Ma'am, the Srinivas will share the screen, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Once the presentation is done, don't leave the Google Meet. I need to take the attendance at the end. And you need to understand also what other students are presenting.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Let me take down your title. Just a second.
Okay, ma'am.
It's importance of. I think this topic was done by someone else, no?
No, ma'am.
I think yesterday there was one batch. I think this is of any device. Okay, let me see. USN number is 408, 403, 402, and 410. Yeah, over to you. You can start now.
Yeah, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Our topic is importance of surface coating for wear and corrosion resistance of any device. Here we'll see the introduction, like what is the wear corrosion and surface coating, and what is surface coating, the importance, and the popular surface coatings present today. We'll see the difference between the wear and corrosion. Wear is the surface failure resulting from dynamic contact between two surfaces such as abrasion and erosion. Whereas corrosion wear is defined as the damage caused by the synergetic attack of wear and corrosion when wear occurs in corrosive environment. In the literature, the term tribocorrosion also refers to the corrosive wear. Here in the first picture, you can see uh, on the material, there is oil plus additive, which is a anti-friction agent, and when the load is applied on that, the temperature increases, and friction occurs, due to which wear also occurs. In the second picture, you can see the cause of corrosion in the material. The next part, surface coating, will be explained by Megnath.
Good morning, ma'am. Surface coating, it can be defined as a barrier coating as it prevents wear and corrosion. One of the easiest and cheapest way to prevent corrosion is to be use barrier coating like a paint, plastic, or powders, includes epoxy and nylon, and are added to the metal surface to create a thin film. Corrosion can be prevented by removing one of these conditions. Coating a metal surface with a paint or or a enamel provides a barrier between the metal and the moisture in the environment. The process of coating a metal surface with another metal that is more likely to be oxidized is referred as to sacrificial coating. Ways to prevent corrosion. Barrier coating. One of the easiest and cheapest way to prevent corrosion is to use barrier coating like a paint, plastic, and powders. Hard dip galvanizing. Hard dip galvanizing, it involves cleaning the steel and immersing it in a molten zinc to obtain a coating. The molten zinc at the temperature around 450 degrees Celsius. And then alloy steel. An alloy steel is a mixture of metallic solid solutions composed of two or more elements. Example, alloy steels includes metals such as brass, phosphorus, bronze, uh, and enamel and steel. Cathodic protection. Cathodic protection is a technique used to control the corrosion of a metal surface by making it a cathode, an electrochemical cell. A simple method of a protection connects the metal to be protected to a more easily corroded sacrificial metal to be used as a anode metal in this. Next importance will be explained by Gunesh Sagar.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm going to explain about importance of surface coating. Firstly, it is important to recognize the wear resistance. Wear resistance is an umbrella term in surface coating. There are different types of wears such as impact wear, friction wear, abrasion wear, friction sliding wears, and so on. Traditionally, it was believed that high hardness of a material surface will give good wear resistance. In fact, a level of compliance is also very useful to allow deformation of the substrate without fracturing. A more useful indicator for a coating will be hard wearing. Hard wearing is the ratio of hardness to its Young's modulus. Coating with a high hardness to Young's modulus ratio exhibits fracture toughness and can better tolerate substrate deformations without fracturing. See you in the next slide. A second important thing for a wear resistance coating is low friction between the coating and its
Just a second, Gunan Sagar. One guidelines I needed to tell you, when you make a PPT, it should not be in a paragraph. You should make it in the bullet form and you should explain. Like never in a PPT put a paragraph. Okay. So it is not an good approach basically. When you go for your project presentation also, see that you just write in terms of bullet and you will explain. Okay.
okay, ma'am.
Yeah, kindly make these suggestions in your future.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah.
The second important thing for a wear resistance coating is low friction between the coating and its wearing counterparts. Friction is a complex phenomenon microscopically and summarized by a well-known macroscopic formula, that is F is equals to mu into N, where F is the force and mu is the coefficient of friction and N is the load. Reducing the friction coefficient reduces the energy transfer between the sliding surfaces and hence reduces the potential damages. This is achieved by some extent by polishing the surface of the lower roughness surfaces. Reducing a lubricating layer less able to sustain a shear force between the surfaces, and it will reduce energy transfer and reduces damage. Lubricating layers could be glass, liquids, and even some solids like graphite. This approach of friction reduction works in case where low friction is required, that is, for example, bearing surface and braking surfaces. See you next slide. Finally, in cases involving high normal loads between the surfaces, the coating may need to have load-bearing capabilities. This is often the case with lightweight loads. In this case, two approaches are to apply a very thick coating that may be able to sustain the loading without yielding or fracture, or to increase the strength of the base material surface itself by diffusing its secondary element into its lattice. These are the important. Next will be explained by Yoganand.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Yoganu. I'm going to talk about the most popular surface coating for achieving wear resistance. So, here is the first one, the hard anodizing. Hard anodizing is, it is a type of the surface coating or produced it in the similar process to standard anodizing technique. The parameter high temperature, here the parameters are temperature and time, where the high temperature and processing time are used to form harder and thicker of the coating. So this hardening technique is the most harder technique, where the surface coating is comparatively 2 to 3 times uh, higher than the other processes. So hardening coating are the best suitable for application of involving the intensive heat, which means the where the higher amount of heat produced in while the performing some operations like mechanical operations. So by using this anodizing technique, we can reduces the metals.
Be quick, don't waste time. Others are also there to complete.
Metal intended to carry heavy loads should not be harder anodized, as the coating typically has through thickness vertical cracks or acts as the stress rises and reduces the fatigue strength of material. So, Srinivas, go to the next slide. So here is the next second type of the technique, nitriding. Nitriding is a popular hardened heat treatment. The protective layer is harder, slender in the form of and growing by thermochemically introduced nitrogen of the outer surfaces. So the gas, although the titanium is naturally strong and the wear rate is high when compared to the other lightweight materials. So this is the protective layer can vastly increases the abrasive wear protection. So here we have three methods of nitrogen metal surfaces. So first is salt bath. So it is used in where less common and due to the toxic byproducts. So second is the gas nitriding. Gas nitriding is still popular, although ammonia is produces, which causes the difficulty when producing at the high volumes. So which increases the wear resistance, surface hardness, and adequately increasing of fatigue life. So third is ion nitriding. Nitriding, which is used in particular innovations of focus. And The cleaner nitriding methods uses plasma under vacuum conditions. So each of the each methods has production face unique challenges. For example, as nitriding methods are very less suitable for material with more complex geometries, unless high pressure and applications are used. However, one challenge of the nitriding methods is highly temperature is about 540 degrees Celsius, meaning that in the context of light alloys, it is only really suitable for use on titanium. Even the possibilities of thermal distortion must be considered. So next, two types of techniques gonna explain by Srinivas. Srinivas, go ahead.
The next method is plasma electrolyte
Just a
oxidation.
second,
Yeah, ma'am.
Srinivasalu, kindly explain in your own words quickly the methods. Okay, don't read from the slides and take much time.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
In plasma electrolyte oxidation, for mainly aluminum, titanium, and magnesium are being used for this coatings. This is partly due to flexibility. These are formed in three stages. In the first stage, the process in a process not dissimilar to anodizing, the metal substrate is submerged into the alkaline electrolyte bath composition, and voltage is applied to the oxidization. The oxidizes the surfaces. The second, plasma discharges are formed across the coating, modifying it both physically and chemically. Elements from the electrolyte solution can be combined into the coating alongside the oxides of the substance. Then the last method is electroless nickel. Electroless nickel plating is perhaps the most popular and effective type of chemical auto catalytic plating on aluminum and titanium. It involves a deposition of nickel potash composites in the chemical bath, producing a coating of excellent uniformity and throwing power. These coatings possess high hardness, natural lubricity, and ductility, and good wear and abrasion resistance, making them a very good coating in the sliding wear applications. Additional wear resistance can be conferred by inclusion of silicon carbide into the coating. So this completes our presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so what about the conclusion? There is no slide for the conclusion. What is the outcome of your presentation? What did you study basically in this topic related to surface coating?
Ma'am, in this we use these surface coatings to avoid this friction and wear corrosion, ma'am.
Hmm?
There are some of the latest techniques are means today in use techniques, ma'am. They
Which
are
technique?
like hard anodizing and nitriding and plasma electrolyte oxidation and electroless nickel. They are used by Keronite Industries, ma'am, to produce these piston and cylinders, ma'am.
Okay. Which coatings are the best, or is it based on the required application you need to focus on different coating techniques? Did you study anything related to that?
Yeah, ma'am. Like hard anodizing is for the surface, ma'am. For it is used for the materials to get harder for the surface, ma'am.
Okay. So did you refer any research papers, Srinivaslu?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
The research papers from Keronite industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So whenever you try to focus on the research papers, kindly see to the latest version so that you'll get the updated techniques which are been implemented in the industry or any organization related to your subject, what you will be studying in the curriculum.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
if you train yourself in this way, when you go out as a professional engineer, you'll be strong enough in the basic concepts and you'll be aware like what is ongoing related to the subjects what you have studied. So it will be easy for you to tackle and complete the work successfully and think about the higher positions also. Okay.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
this is the trend what you have to follow in each and every subject.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, done then. Thanks for the presentation. You kindly share the PPT in the Google Classroom immediately. Okay.
Yeah, we shared yesterday only, ma'am.
You have shared yesterday only.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I didn't evaluate as your
Okay.
team was not presented, right? So I
Yeah, ma'am.
just kept it as it is. So today I will just do the evaluation.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. So the next team,
Thank you, madam.
thank you. Next team, please. Who else have not presented? Yesterday, 8 teams had done, and now it is 9 and 10. Remaining students,
Ma'am, shall we present?
yeah, please.
Okay. Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Our OBE activity topic is the need for emergence of tribology as a core subject. Now, I want Sanjay to introduce the topic.
Just a second. Come back to the first slide. Let me note down your USN numbers.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
is 027 047. Importance, the need for emergence of tribology. Okay,
Yep. All right,
proceed.
Sanjay, start. Yes.
Good morning, ma'am. Tribology is particularly important in today's world because so much energy is lost in friction and mechanical components. To maximize efficiency and to use less energy, we need to minimize the amount of material and friction that is wasted. So significant energy is lost due to friction in sliding interfaces. Therefore, finding ways to minimize friction and way through new technologies and tribology is critical to a greener and more sustainable environment. Um, so the impact of tribology, 23% of world's energy consumption originates from tribological contacts. On top of that, 20% is to overcome friction and 3% is to remanufacture the worn parts. So whatever worn parts are manufactured again. So that consists of 3%. The largest short-term energy savings are invention in transport and power generating, while potential savings in manufacturing and residential sectors are estimated to be 10%. In longer term, savings could be 55%, 40%, 25%, and 20% respectively in transport, power generation, manufacturing, and residential. By taking advantage of new technologies for friction reduction and wear protection, energy losses can be minimized and wear in vehicles and other equipment worldwide could be reduced by 40% in the long term and 18% in the short term. So Sagar will take over.
Tribology, in tribology term, tribo means to rub or rubbing. So it is a science of rubbing of materials or parts. So tribology is a science and engineering of interacting surfaces in relative motion. So those parts, those materials or components which are in contact with each other and they are in motion. So that science and engineering of those interacting surfaces, we term it as tribology. It includes the study and application of the principles of friction, lubrication, and wear. Tribology is the branch of mechanical and engineering and material sciences. The reason we need tribology as a core subject is due to friction, wear, and lubrication have been taught in many science and engineering class at basic level. It means empirically derived trends. That means like friction force is proportion to loading force. Static friction is greater than kinetic friction. So all these postulates that have been derived in historical backgrounds. So it is important to know these trends, and it is important to use these trends as predictive tools which are available in the basic theoretical part of these subjects. So it is important to know to have good knowledge on this subject. Then we see these approaches have drawbacks of being predictive only over a limited range of parameters. So these postulates, static friction is greater than kinetic friction, and many more. These postulates are limited for few range of applications and as well as parameters. Since the underlying physical mechanism are not well understood, often one does not know the important parameters or over what range the observed trends are valid. So most tribological phenomena are inherently complicated and interconnected, making it necessary to understand the concept of tribology in details. So to solve all the mechanical problems and related to friction, lubrication, and wear, it is important to have good knowledge of tribology. In tribology, it is integration of knowledge of from multifaceted disciplines. It includes subjects like solid mechanics, fluid mechanics, material science, chemistry, etc. And is essential, and therefore a separate subject is required to understand the concept behind all these subject and branches. Now I want to tell you about where it can be used in various branches and subjects.
Okay, moving ahead, where we use typology in various branches is, for example, in solid mechanics, we focus on the expressions of contact or the stress basically formed on the surface, on the surface deformations of surfaces when they come in contact with friction due to the rubbing of the surfaces with other components. Example, say screwdrivers or anything, for example, say gas. Moving ahead for fluid mechanics is one of the most famous parts wherein we actually use lubricants, which are fluids, to reduce the wear itself. So this is a very important part comes to typology because the understanding of how lubricants are used and how they can reduce this very friction is an essential part of tribology. Now, when we go to material science is more micro level related because we understand how the atomic structure of a structure varies when with respect to the friction of the wear it occurs undergoing through rubbing. So this is for material science. Moving ahead for chemistry, as actually our previous group just mentioned, is something called electroless nickel, for example. It's an electrolyte wherein with regard to tribology, we have to understand how the electrolyte or we have to understand how the electrons in the electrolyte react with these surfaces, and thereby how do we reduce this wear and tear formed by it. For example, chemical degradation. And lastly, we have thermodynamics. Thermodynamics basically deals with the heats and mass transfer in fluids and bounding solids. For example, basically cooling liquids or cooling fluids in engines itself. How do they reduce the temperature of an engine? Thereby, how do they reduce the wear in the engine? Yeah. In conclusion, basically, tribology as a core subject we need because, as previously mentioned, it's a very complicated subject. But the more we understand, the more we realize tribology is actually involved. Not only is a subject on its own, but it's actually involved in almost every subject we already studied. Be it from the basics of physics, chemistry we learned in school, up till now, fluid mechanics we learning professional engineering. Tribology is basically used everywhere. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Now, the reason we need this subject is because in ancient times there were a lot of machinery, conventional machinery invented like chariots or conventional drills. It used the concept of friction, and because of friction, there's a lot of energy wasted. There's a lot of heat generated, and because of that, there's a lot of energy wasted. So to control the amount of energy which is being wasted, and because of that, the materials are degrading, the contacting surfaces are degrading. It's important to know the concept of tribology, and the performance of many machines in our everyday life depends on contacting surfaces which are in motion, and these surfaces often need to be lubricated for proper durability and energy efficiency. So the knowledge needed to do all this is included in this specific branch of science, which we can term it as tribology. That's why we need this as a subject in our engineering.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So how did you feel after making the PPT? What knowledge you gained about?
Ma'am, we understood the importance of when we talk about machinery, it is really important to know about the interacting surfaces because of which friction is being generated. and because of friction there are a lot of drawbacks, that is heat generation, and there's wear and tear. So to understand how we can minimize it, because there's a lot of energy which is being wasted, so to minimize the energy which is being dissipated, and to keep the surface protected, to not to keep the surface protected from wear, so that we can increase the durability and reliability of the machine parts, it is important to have a good knowledge and to study about these different branches of tribology as well.
Okay, one small question. So now you have knew what is the reason why the subject tribology is there as an curriculum part of you. If you are an tribologist in future, so what will be your insight or some modifications you suggest? Did you think in that way in any approach? Not only Sagar, the entire team can answer.
Ma'am, in point blank perspective, I would, if we were being tribologists, from what we understood in this presentation at least, it would be so when people say to make lubricants and all that, they use particles in lubricants to basically reduce as as fine as possible particles, and more lubricant, the more liquid surface to reduce the the friction contact between surfaces. So one thing what we noticed when making the presentation is no one really focuses on the minuteness or the micro level of the particles used in these lubricants itself. So maybe when if we are to be tribologists in the future, we'll probably try to work in that aspect. Or maybe we don't, from our research, maybe we didn't go through enough of this aspect. But from what we've done so far, yeah, we'll probably go ahead with, studying how these particles, in fact, can be reduced so that the overall lubrication of the lubricant itself can be increased.
Okay, did you refer any research papers?
Yes, ma'am. We've gone through two research paper which were about automotive components, especially in gears and bearings. So, what common things we were noticing is due to high rotating speed of gears, there were like a lot of defects. So, it is important to control the speed as well, and because of interacting surfaces, there's a lot of heat generation. So, it's important to study about how much heat is being generated. As we told, like we include many science branches in it, like thermodynamics. We came up to a conclusion that tribological concepts are very important in interacting surfaces, whether it's gears, bearings, or applications like automotive, aerospace, and medical as well. So it's and it comes in micro level and at in big scale machines as well. So that's how we came up to a conclusion for this as a tribological subject.
Okay, good. You have presented well, even though the content was less, you have presented well. Appreciate for that. And you have gained some knowledge. You have focused on the research papers also. So it is a good work. I could see only Sagar and Mohammed Ayan. What about the one more person who is there in your team?
Ma'am, I stopped in the beginning.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Done then. It was it a teamwork done, or it is an one man making the PPT and others just presenting? Anything like
No,
that?
we all three worked
Yeah.
for this. We split our work and we discussed before presenting, so we had a combined work in it.
Okay, okay, okay. Good then. You please share your PPT to the Google Classroom right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. I think one more team is left out. Who is that?
Yes, ma'am. Gautam and Shivpal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please quickly share your screen. Gautam?
Yes, ma'am. Shivpal will share the screen.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, guys, what happened? Kindly share the screen. Shiv Pavan. No, no, no. You haven't shared the screen yet. How you are sharing your screen? Are you going for a window? Okay. Yeah.
Is it there now?
I can only see you are presenting to everyone. The screen, yes. Yeah, click on the slide. Yes. Make F5. Press F5.
Good morning to one and all present here. This is a team of Pratham Sai and Shilpa. Next, we are going to present about importance of idealized journal bearing and its key parameters in designing a journal bearing.
Just a second, I'm noting down your topic. Importance of. Go back to the first slide, please. Importance of idealized journal bearing and its key parameters in design. It's only a team of 2 people.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yours is ME054. Okay.
Yes. Can you
Proceed.
continue?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to explain the introduction to this present PPT or presentation. So basically, a journal bearing is a device which supports rotating objects like shafts. But in detail, journal bearing can be classified into many ways, and journal bearings are extensively used in supporting rotating machines because of their low wear and good damping characteristics. So during rotation, certain amount of friction is produced between the rotating shaft and stationary bearing. Yes, this is because because of the stationary bearing is not moving, and rotating shaft will always be moving. Not only a shaft, any object which is supported by the bearing is moving. It is important that the manufacture of idealized journal bearing, in order to have a smooth motion of shafts and bearing without much friction. Idealized journal bearing is nothing but one of the best design of a journal bearing, so that there will be no smacks or no stoppage of working of the bearing or by the shaft. A layer of lubrication is applied between the bearing and shaft. This is applied in order to reduce the friction between the shaft and bearing, or to help in to avoid the wearing out of the shaft. So, importance of idealization is that idealized journal bearing is nothing but journal bearing was optimum design. Optimum design means it will not only be the best design, it will also be helpful in avoiding the failure of the machine due to irregular design of the journal bearing, and also uh, there will be like less chance of wearing out of the bearing. The bearing life is the most important consideration. Any industry or any person in that matter expects wearing out of the bearing will not only cause the stoppage of the production or work, but also may cause the damage in any machineries. while it is working. The mechanism to achieved in various machineries can be easily achieved. In very machineries, there will be a lot of complex mechanism which can only be achieved from journal bearing in an easier manner. The lubricant required for every run will be constant. If the bearing is of ideal design, then lubrication required will always be the same amount, and there will be no extra requirement or neither less requirement of lubrication. Less failure leads to less cost maintenance. Of course, in any industries, their aim is to have less maintenance cost of any machine and use it to the very large extent of its capacity. Power transmission can be easily achieved. Basically, the load journal bearing always has been supporting a load. So this load transmits power to the bearing, and the bearing transmits this to the other machineries, so that the mechanism makes the machine work and the work is done. Key parameters in designing journal bearing will be explained by Gautam Sai.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm going to explain about the key parameters in designing a general bearing. Shubhan, go to the next slide. I'll explain this later. So, dynamic load is one of the key parameter in designing a general bearing. So, dynamic load is the result of a shaft orbital motion in the oil film clearance space due to its imbalance. Thus, an alternating hydrodynamic pressure fluctuation is superimposed on the steady pressure being exerted on it. So, the easiest way to give guidance for this limit maximum orbit vibration to less than 50% of the diametral clearance of the bearing. For example, if the bearing clearance is 6 miles, thus the maximum acceptable displacement amplitude is 3 miles peak to peak measured on its orbit from two orthogonal proximity probes. Once the orbit exceeds 75% of its clearance, the short-term damage is almost always happening, and the bearing life is likely limited to a few hours if the orbit size exceeds 90% of the available clearance. Uh, when coming to length and diameter ratio, length and diameter ratio is also the key parameter. So the length to diameter ratio is one of the first thing a bearing designer should consider, since the shaft diameter is often determined by other factors like torque and bending strength. It is usually the active axial length that is to be controlled. So this factor to give the sufficient steady and alternating load capacity, it also significantly affects the stiffness and the damping characteristics of the bearing. So the longer the bearing, the lower the specific load and the lower the stiffness. A longer bearing also tends to have the higher effective damping. Since the damping is a frequency dependent stiffness, the speed of the machine must be considered as well. While from a rotor dynamics standpoint, softened bearings and almost always a benefit, and too lightly loaded bearing may have the stability problems. When coming to clearance is obviously one of the key parameter. So the basic we have to clear all the blockages from the machine so that we could run the machine more efficiently. So the when coming to the base material, normally the steel is used as a backing material for a bearing and is preferred for strength. So cuprous alloys are about half the strength of steel and have virtually no endurance limit.
So bronze or even copper may be used when extra heat conduction is needed for a successful design. When coming to special purpose turbines or and centrifugal compressors, both specifically disallow anything other than steel for a backing material. So the reason for this, it allows a relatively inexpensive and the convenient path to fix a hot bearing or upgrade a design. When coming to grooving, on some bearing grooves are cut into the surfaces for various reasons. The most often cited reason for grooving are to direct lubricant to the loaded areas and for cooling. Uh, for a well-designed bearing with steady loads, which is not reciprocating, does not need any grooves. And in fact, a solar effect is to increase stiffness, reduce load capacity, and damping. In some cases, circumferential groove is used, which is called load groove, to increase the specific loading and increase stiffness.
Gautam, be quick.
Yeah, ma'am. The last one.
Yes.
And the available space. Many machinery manufacturers purchase bearings from specific companies, so it's advantageous to use the standard bearing for form factors for cost reduction. So a machine that was designed for thin shell bearing liners is not usually good for conversion to tilting pad bearing simply because it is insufficient radial room in the bearing housing. Shubham, go to the next slide. Uh, so when coming to friction and heat generation, uh, there is a formula which is we used to for Petrov's equation. So this equation is to an estimate of the temperature rise for a given oil flow rate in a machine in which we design is to made either uh, for references or various computer programs. It is very important to understand the assumption uh, which is used in this equation. When coming to specific steady load, it is a very important concept. So it is simply the general load divided by the active bearing length times diameter. So there are problems associated with bearings that are too lightly loaded, specifically oil will and instability. For heavily loaded bearings, heat generation and fatigue can become significant. When coming to surface speed, the larger the general diameter, the higher the surface speed, and the smaller the general diameter, the lower the surface speed. Uh, Next. And the further conclusion will be explained by Shivpan, ma'am.
Yes. High viscosity index. Synthetic lubricants can greatly reduce power loss. So, in any industry, power loss is the main and like unavoidable problem which are hindering their growth. This can be reduced by high viscosity index synthetic lubricants. In journal bearings, while maintaining safe, select additives both
Shiv Pavan, Shiv Pavan, yeah, I could read the conclusion part. I have read, no problem. What did you understand by going through these topics related to idealized journal bearing?
Yes, ma'am. Due to this, we got to know, we only studied about the journal bearing like shallowly, but because of this topic, we got to know that the optimum design of a journal bearing is very important in any industry or any machineries so that we can have the work which we have to be completed can be completed in time and with much less effort. And because of the parameters from that we could learn that not only the designing of the journal bearing is only for the bearing, but also will help in the designing of the machine in a much easier way with all these specifications.
Okay. Did you refer any ongoing idealized journal bearing case of any industry for your reference?
No, ma'am, but we referred this paper.
Okay. Okay. So if you know, it's okay, you have furnished the details. Well, what I felt was if you refer for an ongoing industrial case study related to this idealized journal bearing, you would have still got much more information. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Then, okay, thank you for the presentation. You kindly share your PPT to the Google Classroom.
Yes.
Immediately. Okay. So now those who are present here, kindly tell your USN numbers. I will mark the attendance. Shiv Pavan, what is your USN number?
1BY16ME054.
054. I think your name is at the end. Okay, done. Pavan?
64, ma'am.
It is 64. Yes. Gautam Sai?
31, ma'am.
Done. Sagar Dutt Mathur?
Ma'am, 45.
45. Done. Srinivasulu?
Ma'am, 408. 1BY18ME 408.
408. Yeah, done. Yogananda? Huh?
3x18ME 410, ma'am.
410.
Ma'am, 46.
17ME 46, is it? Sagar
Yes,
GV. Done.
Ma'am, Megha, ma'am, 403.
403. Done. Who else?
Ma'am, 402.
402. Done.
Ma'am, 17ME018.
018. Done.
Ma'am, a lot of people wrote their USN and left for the next class, ma'am.
Okay, I will check. And who else now currently there in the main?
024.
041.
Ma'am, 59.
59.
Ma'am, 1664, ma'am.
59. After that? 63 is done. Next.
No, ma'am, 61.
61, Vidyan.
Ma'am, and 64, Dhanush, ma'am.
64.
And
It is
15
Pavan.
No, ma'am,
Your
16.
16.
Yes, ma'am.
16 ME. Okay, 64. Got it.
Ma'am, 17 ME013, ma'am.
17 ME013. Yes, done. Who else? Chetan?
014.
Yeah, done. Anyone else?
3, ma'am. 3.
Ma'am, 7.
Ankesh. Yeah, done. Who else? Rishabh. 41.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Anyone else?
17 ME24.
24. Done. Okay then. Take care and have a good day. So we'll meet in next coming week. Sorry, this Saturday we do have a class.